Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got yet another news video from inside the vault, and this time it's going to be the big changes coming to builds and your camps, as well as a couple of combat changes. So let's crack on with it. So we're jumping right over to Reddit once again. I know, forgive me, we will get some gameplay, but there's a lot of information in this. This is another installment of Inside the Vault, and this is to do with camp and building, as well as a couple of combat changes, but primarily to do with camps. So let's crack into it. The relaxed build rules. Relaxed build rules are activated for adventurer mode. Unleash your creativity by letting your camp items float, intersect with each other, or be unsupported. Let's go over some of the most common scenarios you'll experience when building a camp and talk about how these new build rules will affect them. Snapping items. Items can still snap together in the way that you used to, but now items that used to require snapping are allowed to not snap. Oversnapping is possible. Think of having a floor tile with an item attached to it. Two floor tiles can be placed on top of each other, with one tile rotating the dresser to a different spot. Walls can also be built beneath the floor, and upper floors can be attached to walls without the need for a staircase. Which that alone, upper floors can be attached to walls without the need of a staircase. Thank gosh. That is so annoying. The support system and stuff. You can get really creative with this now. Placement mode toggles. 3 placement modes are available to help you place items in your camp. Snap mode, normal. Place items the way you're used to. Collision mode. Items will not auto snap, but will consider collisions. Free mode. No snapping and no collision. So you've got various different modes here. We've got snap mode, which is just normal. Place items wherever you want. Then you've got collision mode, which items will not auto snap, but will consider collision, which is pretty cool. And then the third one is free mode, where you can just get absolutely wild with it. And things can mesh and everything like that, which is really interesting. Next, we've got placement restrictions. While there are still some items that require ground placement, for example, crops, extractors, items that require water to be placed, placement restrictions have been loosened for the others, allowing you to place them freely. Yes, this means in the air too. I wonder how that's going to work. Like, how do you choose where in your 3D space or 4D space, 3D, 5D space, where to put that, right? Like, how do you tell the game where I want that, you know? We're going to find out, I suppose. Foundations. Items that used to require a foundation to be placed no longer have that requirement. Power cables can now be built even if the cable intersects with another object. This is really nice. You won't have to do weird, like, cabley things, you know? But it will also look kind of weird. Blueprints. No changes here in relation to the new build rules. You can build blueprints with intersecting, floating, or unsupported objects in it. We expect that laxing the rules on adventure mode servers is going to allow you to create some truly amazing camps, and we need your help pushing things to the limit during this PTS. Next, we got Workshop 2.0. Coming along in this update is a complete rework of the workshop menu with a refreshed focus on findability and organization. This new UI should make it a lot easier for you to get to the items you need. We've been testing this internally and are excited for you to get your hands on it. To assist in your camp building endeavors, we've unlocked a lot of workshop items to give you more items to build with. These workshop items will not persist beyond the PTS. Please note, the full functionality of Workshop 2.0 will not be available at the start of the PTS begins. Wait, at the start of the PTS begins? Okay, whatever. Sounds a bit weird. Features coming later in the PTS. History category. New, recent, blueprinted, and stored. So that's all under one category, I suppose. Then you've got filter options. These are currently grayed out, and then new main and subcategories. One of the first things you'll notice, other than the new UI, is the consolidated main categories and new subcategories, which will host all your workshop items. We believe that this new categorization will allow you to get to what you're looking for a lot quicker than before. The categories are quests, objectives. These categories will only appear when a quest is active and will disappear after the quest is completed. This is going to be sick for dailies, right? Like build 5 foundations or whatever. Really cool. 6 floor decor, whatever. So yeah, really like that. We've got camp pieces, foundations, porches, floors, walls, roofs, stairs, and so on and so forth. Then we've got the defense category, which is turrets and all that stuff. We've got power, which is your generators and power connectors. We've got lights, which is self-explanatory. We've got resources, which is crafting, food, water, collectors, and producers. We've got utility, which is your instruments, which is rather interesting. Player benefits, services, and vending machines. We've also got furniture, which is self-explanatory, and decorations, which is self-explanatory, as well as wall decor. We've got storage, which is all your storage stuff. Structures, which includes farm, frontier, industrial, military, modern, rustic, scavenger, and store. We have dwellers, formerly allies, which will be your allies and your pets and stuff. When looking through those categories, you'll also see the variance panel for your items, so you can get a look at the piece before placing it. Please let us know how you feel about the categories and their current placement once you're able to play with the new UI yourself. Modify menu. The modify menu, your main tool for customizing your camp, has also received a facelift, providing direct access to editing features. So we've got edit mode. Use this when you want to pick up or move items. We've got wallpapers, which is your wallpapers and stuff like that. We've got locks. Keep your stuff safe, so you put locks on stuff. And then we've also obviously got blueprints. Love your setup, save it, blueprint it, yada, yada, yada. So we've got Workshop 2.0 known issues. You can't place on a destroyed object. Blueprint budget bar is missing. The placement error message isn't clear. Some icons are missing in the variance panel, and then jumping bug. Jumping may be temporarily disabled in build mode after switching from modify mode if your last selected sports wire attachments like generators, blah blah blah, toggle modes. Okay, so jumping is going to be bugged, and then the canary current cannot be. I think I meant to say currently cannot be placed. Someone definitely did this early in the morning with no coffee. Get some more coffee, the man. We got next here UI and menu bugs, so there's some more bugs there. Let's go down to the meat and grit of what we're here for: combat balancing and changes. Last week we gave an early look at the balancing changes arriving in this update. There's a lot happening in the combat / perk space. For those of you who have already given it a read and shared your early thoughts, thank you. To go along with the start of the PTS, the team wanted to make further adjustments to the LMG, which is huge. I've actually looked at this already. I kind of like the sound of it, but I need to test it in game. We are increasing the base damage of the LMG and introducing a way for you to craft 5.56, 308 Win Mag, or a 45 receiver on the weapon, so you can pick up the ammo the weapon uses based on your needs. So there's going to be 3 different receivers, and they're going to provide you with various different benefits. The LMG base damage has been changed from 37 to 42. It was already 42. Then they said they're going to turn it to 37, and now they're going back on themselves back to 42, if you know what I mean. So it's already 42. So this is like the same base damage. Right, so LMG found in the world will be default. Use the new standard receiver, which means the weapon is going to be using 5.56. So that's right, 5.56 is the new standard receiver, standard ammunition for your LMG, but you don't have to use it. You can craft a 308 receiver on an LMG, which will give you more damage at the cost of slowing down the weapon's rate of fire, which I am kind of curious to see what the damage numbers are. I wish they put them here, but I think they're trying to be safe before people come out with their pitchforks and stuff. And then we do still get the 45 receiver, which is going to give it a higher rate of fire at the cost of lower damage. So prime versions of these receivers can be obtained from their standard locations. These changes will not affect your current owned weapons. If you have a 308 receiver on your LMG, it will remain a 308 and won't become a 556 receiver when you log in, which is going to be nice. So I am debating trying out a 308 prime on my LMG and seeing where we can get that to. I think that'll be pretty fun, don't you think? We got known issues. The dynamic naming on these with the different receiver mods has not been set up yet, so it will read as LMG or Prime LMG depending on the mods. This will be addressed before this update releases. Sorry about the alarm going off. And then we've got a fix to caravans. So before, Brahmin would actually get stuck in some cases and it would be really annoying for players. And so what they've done is after 7 minutes, you will receive the rewards anyway. So doesn't matter if they get stuck or not. And then on top of that, everyone will receive the same number of supplies regardless of whoever started the event. So it's going to be more lucrative to help people out with their caravans, as you're going to get the same amount of supplies back, which should have been a thing anyway, I felt like, but hey, what do I know? Right here we've got item locking. You can now protect your favorite items by locking them. Lock your favorite items to protect them from accidental sales, scraps, or trade. We're excited to bring you this highly requested feature. This is really good because I don't know if you've guys seen in my previous video, but a lot of my weapons that I use and keep will always have Z dash, you know, B for bloody, whatever, right? And the reason I do that is so that all the stuff I want to keep is congregated at the bottom of my list, and then everything else, you know, is above, right? And that's why I do that. So this is actually going to be super, super nice. I might still end up doing that kind of Z thing because it makes reading and working out what's what a little bit easier, in my opinion, from like the stuff that you do want to scrap. But this is really, really, really good. I'm super excited for this. Add or remove lock anywhere, and you can interact with items including your Pip-Boy, stash, workbench, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff here. And then it says here, note, locking an item will not prevent loss of junk on death. So you can't you can't stop your junk from disappearing when you die, which is fine. But that's a really good change, and I'm super happy to see it. And we're going to conclude there. I am super excited for the camp changes. I think that these are things that should have been or should have happened a while ago, but better late than never, I guess. And I am going to be messing around on the PTS when it gets downloaded. For some reason it's taking forever, and with that, as well as the changes coming to the LMG, which I am happy for. It's not getting a buff to its damage inherently unless you put the 308 on there, but I think that the way that they've readdressed the LMG situation is a lot better than just reducing its damage, and that was it, you know, changing the ammunition type. So super excited about that. Either way, cheers all for joining me. Thanks all for watching, and I'm going to catch you all on the next one.